Hey kin. Alright, let's begin. So remember that kin are protectors of energy and you want to be aware of your energy before you actually go through the video. So take a minute, pause, and reflect on exactly how you're feeling right now in relation to how you've been feeling since our last session, and then we're going to continue into my notes. Okay, so remember that the videos take on three separate parts, which is things we want to pay attention to, things we want to appreciate, and things we want to amplify, which means we're already doing it and we want to do it better. Okay, so the first note I have here is giving feedback to reflecting on why the surgery was so important to you. And one of the things you said during the session was noting that it was like a last resort, and you said you kind of felt bad about it for a moment because you were looking at the scar and you were like you had this like postpartum feeling, and it was almost like, what have I done to my body? But I wanted us to reframe that and pay attention to how powerful it was for you to take control of what you wanted for your body, and see that yes, you have done this to your body, but it's not like something that you've punished your body with. It's something that you have consciously chosen to redesign your body with. So if you will accept that, let's work with that, and you'll give me feedback to it in the next. Okay, then we moved into what you realize you want out of a relationship, and I thought that was really powerful that you spoke about realizing you want that can't live with you, can't live without you, can't explain kind of love, realizing that within that love there is a capacity for so much softness and vulnerability and gentleness. And to hear you affirm that was really, really powerful, to see you get to that place of realizing that you can be a powerful person and still find love, that having power doesn't mean that you have to have a power struggle. Having money doesn't mean that you can't find people who are deep, who can move beyond the shallow through to the deep ends, to the depth, and stay there, and then also to come back. So to just move with you how you need, and to hear you affirm that was really powerful. So I wanted us to definitely see that as a point of appreciation and also amplification. Also, on the point of partnerships, one thing that I wanted to pay attention to was, since you've recently integrated more self-comforting approaches to realizing what your job takes from you, it's important to realize that you can find a partner who sees how much you give and is able to meet you within that space and give you what you need, share with you what both of you realize you'll need, and create that dynamic of work and life, the internal culture that you're coming from, not just where you're coming from and having moved a lot and trying to maintain your culture from when you were younger, but the current constitution of your being, the way you are now. Someone who can meet with you in harmony with the dynamic of the kind of person that you have become, to really open your mind to the fact that we aren't really trained to believe that we can find that level of synergy. There's not a lot of proof in our spaces for it, but there comes a point where you realize that overexhaustion, that need for that soothing and that comfort, and then you can be like, wait a minute, no, I need that. I need it. It's not weak for me to need it. I want it, and I am going to get it. Okay, and then we came to this person that has just been recurring for a while. And they needed your attention. You were thankfully at last able to say, as much as I care, I am tired right now. And then within that space of taking care of yourself and knowing that you were tired and giving to yourself first and pouring your own cup first, you still allowed that space for the sharing, the connection, for them to express themselves, and then they expressed themselves. And you were still able to graciously respond pro you, pro them, pro the connection, the best way you could have, given what you were given, and still finding the kindness inside of yourself to say, you know, I'm not going to pretend I don't care, but I'm not going to pretend I haven't learned that I deserve all kinds of relationship dynamics where I can get the level of adoration, respect, and honor that feels right, that resonates. And I was really, really proud of that. So I think it's important to really sit with that one, because oftentimes when we go through these things, there's all the socializing around, oh, forget that person. And that is a heartache unto self, to just pretend that you can forget someone. However, being honest about the fact that this person is not applying themselves into your life in the way that you need, that feels right for the level of appointment that you want to give to them. So we have to reappoint people when we realize what they are honestly able to give. And if we choose to hold space for them, that's private and sacred dialogue. And time will tell. In the meantime, we're going to run with what we are open to, this level of adoration, and see. Which brings me into the next part. Okay, so we went from having not too much action in that space as far as prospects that were actually considered, people you were actually considering. And now we have sort of 3, and I'm just looking at the different dynamics that they're presenting and parts of yourself that they are reflecting, and seeing that it's giving us an opportunity to pay attention to them all and see which ones you want to feed, see what you want to upgrade, what you want to change and transform altogether, just sitting with self and admitting it. So there's that constant uncertainty. There is that one from the past that's coming back up that might be possible again. And of course, a lot has changed. So it's like a show and tell of how things have changed. And then there's that sort of constant one who's there, but then perhaps it would be a lot to actually admit that, wow, am I really going to do this? Are we really going to do this? And actually hearing myself say it like that, now that's the one that seems exciting. Ultimately, it's on you, obviously, but I think the big part of it for the fun homework would be for you to sit with those 3 mirrored aspects of self in these prospective partners and realize what parts of you they're mirroring, and realize what you like in each one and which one you'd like to move with for right now. Because right now is all we have, and it's a series of right nows. So just see, like, while I'm saying this, who's coming to mind. If it's like, honestly, it's none of them. And if it's like, oh, I think I know who it is. Of course, I've taken a while to do this video, so maybe you have a big update for me. But yeah, we'll see. So I think that's the end of my notes themselves. And I think just reflecting on the session itself, I want to say that it's important for us to realize, we had briefly spoken about like what we can afford, and when it comes to relationships, like, can I afford to allow this person in my life? What does that look like? What does afford mean? Based on how much you expend in your regular life, does this person require an effort that you just, amount of energy that you just don't have to give, that you don't care to give, that you care too much to give? Is there a reciprocity by your value that you like? So reciprocity can mean a lot of things to different people, and in different gender spaces, women, men, other, feel like reciprocity should be one way or another, but remember, it's always coming down to you, what resonates with you, for you. So instead of critically looking at it like, what can I afford to do, or I can't afford to do that, look at it, yes, it's still the affordability, but looking at it from, I realize I can afford to, I would do really well to have that companionship, that person to share life with, that person to share my day with. And I'm worth that because, like, I think that would be part of the fun homework as well. Why are you with that? Why is that? Why are you obviously with that? Not just the way friends say, "Oh, you're so worth it. You're so great." Because oftentimes we feel like friends are supposed to say that, but we are our first and constant intimate partners. We know what we really want. We know what really resonates, and what does that internal intimate partner really feel. You can afford to invest in and learn right now. What new dynamic are you able to say? Are you able to say, I think I'm going to allow myself this experience? And so there is an update for you to share with me, and something current is happening within that chosen one. Then I would just add, what is something that you can afford to go a little further in, maybe this week until our next, or what is something that you're able to be more still on, that you didn't ever feel before that you could be so relaxed on. Yeah, I think that's a big one, that we can afford to relax is a big one, that we can attract relationships where you really feel like that weight, that sigh, beyond the passion and the excitement and the adventure of it. You just feel really good, feel really great and wonderful. All right, so that was it for the feedback notes, and I'm gonna send this off, and I'll talk to you soon. Also, just want to say that in the background you can hear my baby niece crying. She's having trouble sleeping. I hope it's not too much of a distraction, but to whatever extent it is, I think that I've been processing it from a vantage point of admitting how exhausted we all are, how much we need cuddles and soothing, and how we have so much trouble sleeping, and we have to be learning how to do that, and now we have to teach little ones how to do that. So yeah, my niece is sending you reminders of getting all that rest and ensuring you get into all sorts of relationship dynamics that don't leave us feeling, don't leave us feeling so depleted that we are beyond exhaustion, because work already does that very well.